Welcome back to Project U 2.2. Today I get to introduce someone incredibly special, not just because she built one of the most trusted celebrity fashion platforms online, but because she used to live 2 doors down from me and is one of my dearest friends. Her name is Heather Campbell Green, and she is the creator of CelebrityStyleGuide.com, a leading style destination that's been influencing trends, helping millions of women get the look, and partnering with major fashion and beauty brands for more than 2 decades. What I love most about Heather's story is that she didn't start with investors, a team, or a giant network. She started as a neighbor, a mom, a woman with a creative spark, a supportive husband, and she stayed with it. She built something huge in a space most people would have quit, but Heather didn't. She stuck it out, and the result is a brand that has become iconic in the world of celebrity fashion. Heather, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
It's fun to have you here, and it seems like just yesterday we were watching our kids outside riding plasma cars up and down the driveways, and now here we are doing a
Oh,
podcast.
I know. Where did time go?
So I first met Heather 22 years ago. We moved into a new neighborhood and we lived 2 doors apart. We became the best of friends, and my oldest son, Hayden, was only 3 at the time. And I remember we used to fight for Heather's friendship. She, thank goodness, had room for both of us. But he loved listening to Heather talk about fashion, and she has had a lasting impact on him. He's 24. His senior year of high school, he was nominated Best Dressed. And I think that all goes back to those young years of Heather's influence. So
Oh,
when I talked to him,
I,
Heather, that we were doing this,
yes,
and I said,
yes.
Hayden, what's a good question I could ask Heather? And he said, well, I'm curious to know if she has a fashion standard or a faux pas that she could talk about. And so I asked him to explain what his fashion standard meant. And he said, well, his is that if you're going out, your outfit should have at least 3 pieces. So pants and a shirt aren't enough. You need to elevate it with a jacket or with a collar underneath. So Heather, there's your first question.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love that it came from Hayden. And best dressed was very well deserved. And that he has been best dressed since he was 3. That came that came right all from him. So I love this question. And I don't like a lot of rules or uh, telling people what to dress, what to wear, what to do. I think a standard for me is don't let the outfit that you are wearing or want to wear you. I think you should feel confident whatever you're wearing at any time, no matter where you're going. And that's not to say that you have to be dressed to the nines, going to the grocery store. But it's just
Hmm.
if you feel good, you're going to look good and it's going to radiate. And I
Hmm.
think, be creative
Hmm.
and you love what you love for a reason. So,
Mm. I love
that's kind
that.
of my
And with
standard.
no big rules. I like that.
I
Yes.
don't.
Do you remember when Hayden, I think he was, oh, you're going to have to correct me, maybe 7?
Okay.
Did he bring you down a
Okay.
resume?
Yes, yes, he was my first resume, and it was for something for school because he had a bring I think it was bring your parent to school day or something, and so we brought, of course, one you or Greg, and then he also had to create a resume for a job that he wanted to apply for, and I still
Oh.
have it. I still have
Ah,
it somewhere. Yeah, no,
he
it's
wanted to be
I,
like
I
your
love it.
assistant or something, didn't he?
Yes,
Yes,
yep,
yes.
my
Oh,
right hand, and
I
he
think
still is.
I was gonna say, I think that probably is still true today.
Yes,
Okay, so
absolutely.
I remember this image vividly. You
Okay.
taught me how to swirl a glass of wine and look for the spider legs. I even remember
The
where we
legs.
were. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So is it Miomi? Is that still one of your favorite brands?
I Pinot Noir is my
Yes.
favorite.
Yes.
I have kind of moved into rosé as well. I
Mm.
love the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle's As Ever brand. I like it because it's clean, and as we get older, we don't quite process alcohol the way we did in our 20s,
Mhm. Mhm.
and nobody has time to not be 100%. So,
Mm.
I a little bit, not Mayomi sometimes, but I really like. Which I think was my flowers is probably my favorite. which is a
Okay. Oh,
California, a
it gives me
Napa,
something new to
Pinot
look
Noir.
into.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and then a
Okay.
rosé. Check out As Ever. It's pretty good.
Awesome. I remember you made me feel so educated that day. And this last summer, when I went to Italy and went on a wine tour, I remember like, okay, I feel a little bit more comfortable thanks to Heather.
Oh, I love that.
Okay,
Take
what's
me with
your,
you.
yes,
Mhm.
what is your go-to makeup or beauty product right now? And what triggered this was, and I actually have it
Mhm.
right here with me, this
Nice.
Milani
Yep.
lip gloss that you had me buy from Target. So something that you
Uh-huh.
got me hooked on that gloss.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then that's still in my rotation. I love that. It sells out all the time. It just works for everyone. I love it. But
Mm.
so 2026 is the year of, skin. I really want to get my skin in shape. I want to pull away from any kind of injectables. I want to have that no makeup look. So the glass skin, you've heard that term, I'm
Mm.
sure,
I
before.
have
So
not, but I have an
yes.
image. Yes, okay.
Yes, so glass skin. So I have three brands in rotation right now, and they all serve different, kind of different purposes. But U, like the letter U, beauty. That's
Mm.
my hero brand, my hero product. The Super Hydrator gives you that just glowy, beautiful, hydrated, plump look. So I love You Beauty. Sonsi, which is Pamela Anderson's beauty
Mm.
line. She only has a very few products in the line, but they are fantastic. They're clean, they're ethical, sustainable. The way they're packaged is gorgeous. And then finally, Scarlett Johansson's The Outset is the third.
Mm.
And
Oh,
that's for sensitive skin, for people that just don't want to hit everything with a hammer, kind of a
oh,
gentler approach. And so I go into my chat GPT and I work with my dermatologist and my esthetician, and we have worked up a plan.
a little
So
regimen. I love that.
yes.
I'm gonna have to look at all of these notes and go do some shopping for this. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, of
All right,
course.
let's talk about Celebrity Style Guide. And you've been
Okay.
running this for over 20 years, which is incredible. So talk a little bit about how it began.
Okay. So when I had Taylor, I needed a stay-at-home mom job. I wanted to be home with her. And when babies are little, it's 24-hour, job. So I was watching a lot of, TV. I was watching a lot of sitcoms just to kind of boost my mood. I love a sitcom. I always have. But I really dove into Friends at that time.
Mhm.
And I found myself wanting to know exactly what Jennifer and Courtney were wearing. And
Mhm.
so I would have my notepad and I would write down, okay, jeans, they look a little high waisted. I can see a little logo there, striped top. And then I would go on the internet, that was brand new at the time, and spend any spare time I had locating these outfits. And then I would purchase them for myself in every size because I didn't know what size was going to fit. And then I would sell whatever didn't fit on eBay. And so that's kind of how it started, was just a love of clothes on TV. So circling back when my husband, saw me doing this, all the time, and he was like, "You need a website. If you like this, other people will like this." This was before anything. This is before people style watch, who, what, where, in style. This was 2005. So he said, I'm going to build you a website and we're going to put all of this information that you found on the website. And I was like, that would be great. And if I could just make a little bit of money just to contribute and, be home with my baby, be, super happy. So he built it for me. That's he's in IT. And so he built me the most beautiful pink and purple website. We called it Celebrity Style Guide. I still can't believe that we got that .com. And it just kind of shot out of a cannon. And the TV shows, that the networks, the designers, PR people, brands, they were just so excited that somebody was finally putting the fans with the brands because it had never been done before. I think our first month launch, just because of SEO, we had 30,000 page views.
Wow. I
Yeah.
forgot about that story that you started selling on eBay. And then when you just said
Hmm.
that, it triggered that. I also
Yeah.
remember, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think didn't
Yeah.
you also just like look at magazines? And that
Yeah.
was when we had like, the National Enquirer and all these paper magazines
Hmm.
coming to our homes back
Hmm.
then, and you'd peruse
We
through
trade.
those. And
We trade
yeah,
them, and yeah, yeah,
yeah.
they'd make its way through the neighborhood. Yeah, I would look at those, and I would just kind of, and it wasn't even. I hate to say this, but it really wasn't fashion. I wasn't like, I love fashion. I just loved what was on TV at the time. I was like, I loved how these costume designers put this together and made a look. Even if there's 6 or 7 characters in the frame, like Friends, they all kind of played together. Like it's such a talent to be able to dress a character in their character, staying true to them, because you also have to consider the actor playing the character. They have to kind of sign off a little bit. I have stories about that. But it's just a lot, the whole process. I loved the whole thing.
Mm.
So, and I thought it was easy shopping. It was a personal stylist that I didn't have to pay because Deborah Maguire was dressing Jennifer Aniston. I just copied that.
And you still follow Jennifer Aniston, which she is one of
Absolutely.
my favorites. So I love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of came full circle because Courtney Cox actually worked on 2 more shows of hers since Friends, and we were invited to the set of Cougar Town and got to meet her, and it was just so cool because she's so iconic and has been around, since Bruce Springsteen Dancing in the Dark
Yeah.
video and Family Ties, and I was just like, how is this real life? So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was
When you think
exciting.
back to 2005 when you started this, did you ever imagine that it would become what it is today?
No, and I still don't even I still can't believe it is what it is today because there was no. I always think of it like, what would you tell your younger self? Like, I literally could not tell my younger self anything about my job because it didn't exist. I had to
Mhm.
create it and I had to build it and I had no roadmap. And I just was like, I love this. I love TV. I love fashion on TV. So I've got to figure out a way to make this a job. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
What was or when was the first moment that you realized that Celebrity Style Guide was more than just a
Mhm.
website?
When it was featured in People Style Watch as the top 10 must visit websites. And that was around the same time that I was getting invited to all the TV studios and the movie premieres. And it was just, it was getting really, really exciting and building really quickly. So
Do you still have that article? You should have that
yeah,
framed in your office.
I do. I do. I have it framed somewhere in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. It was Kate Hudson was on the cover. It was People Style
Oh,
Watch, and I want to say it was 2007. But I'll have to look.
okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
did build so quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned you have met celebrities and you've been on different
Mm-hmm.
sets. Can you share
Mm-hmm.
with us the most memorable celebrity or stylist that you've interacted with?
Oh, there's been so many, but there's one day that really stands out for me because I was invited to go to the Reba set with Reba McEntire, who I adore, and I loved that show so much. And so we went to that show. We had lunch with the cast. We got to see, we got to sit with Reba and go talk about clothes, and it was just the coolest experience. And that costume designer, Erica Tarillo, she was fantastic. And then we got taken over to the OC, which is another huge show that I covered that had Rachel Bilson. And we went visited that set, saw filming, got in the WB, that's what it is, the Warner Brothers costume cage, got to see all the clothes. And then we went right on over to Charmed, and I got to meet and sit with the entire cast of Charmed and their costumes. And these are shows that I love. And so to be there in real life and to be able to sit on the couch at the Charmed house and see the Book of Spells and to, go to the Mick Mansion and the OC, and it was just the coolest day. And everyone was absolutely wonderful. And then the other one would be Courtney Cox going to Cougar Town and
Mm-hmm.
meeting that cast and crew was fantastic.
Hmm. Didn't you and Taylor have a fun
Hmm.
little set that
Hmm.
you got to explore and go on?
Yeah, well, now Taylor loved, gosh, I hope I'm saying the name, Wizards of Waverly, I believe was, no, it was Jesse. Jesse was the show.
Yes, it was
There's some,
Jesse. Yes.
it was Jesse. Yep. And Debbie Ryan was the star, and Peyton List and Cameron Boyce were the stars. And one of my dear friends that I had worked with on other shows was the costumer for that show. And she found out that Taylor was a fan and invited her for her birthday to do a set visit and do a walk on extra part and meet Debbie and Peyton and Cameron. And we just spent the whole day on the studios with that crew, and it was just to see her face like light up and to give
Mhm.
her that experience was better. That's the best thing out of all of this, actually.
Was I'm guessing Taylor was at like 12-ish then?
Yeah, she was in
Yeah.
12. Yeah, she was 12 because she was still in middle school. I want to
Okay.
say sixth grade. It was fifth or
What a
sixth
gift.
grade.
Yeah, what a
Yeah,
memory.
yeah, it was really
Mhm.
cool. So, yeah, that was really fun.
So awesome. How do you stay inspired for 20 years in the fashion
Uh-huh.
industry and it because
Yep.
it changes so fast?
Yep. And I think that's probably why you don't get bored. You can't. It moves really, really fast. And I love it. And I think that's what keeps me inspired is that the hunger is still there. I call it the hunt. Troy used to call it hunting. I would find something,
Mm.
I would fixate, I would have to find it, I would hunt it down. And then when you find it, it's like, oh, but I still love it. I still and now I sold celebritystyleguide.com a few years ago, the website. I just was kind of tired of running a website. So I kind of semi-retired. And now I am on Instagram and TikTok. And the great thing about that is it changes every day. I have over 500,000 people messaging me, asking me questions, telling me what they're looking for, what they're liking. So I have this huge community of people that keep me inspired and keep me
Mm.
driven to keep going. So
New things to hunt for. And I remember
yeah.
watching you do that, and you would be able to look at just a small detail on the
Hmm.
jeans or the color
Hmm.
of the thread without even seeing the label, and you would
Hmm.
know the brand.
Yep. And
Amazing.
that's my superpower. And I wish it was, neuroscience. It's not. It's that. And it's so hard to watch a show with me or a movie because like we'll be sitting down like, "Oh my gosh, did you see that sweater on the back of that chair?" And like, "No, I'm watching the show." Like
Oh.
and I can scan and I can see things really, really quickly. And because I've been doing it for so long, I know logos, I know stitching, I know styling, I get the line sheets for different brands. And, as technology has evolved in social media, my job's actually gotten easier.
Mm,
So, I can do Google reverse search, but that'll only take you, 30% there. And nine times out of 10, that's the starting point. And then you've got to really, really narrow it down because you can do similar items all day long, but
mm,
to find the exact and then verify and make sure, that's the heavy lifting.
mm. What is a win that you think about on days that are hard? Mm,
That I'm still here, that people still care, that I thought I was the only crazy person that cared what celebrities were wearing on TV. I thought I was a nut. And so the validation that, wow, this is actually, it's helping people, and I'm still here and it's continuing to grow. It's still going. And that it's just an incredible life. It's the opportunities and the things I've gotten to see and do and people that I've gotten to meet, and the experiences. It's always pinched me 20 years later.
I'm amazed because I remember when I first became a teacher and I thought, oh, in 30 years, the kids are going to think I'm this old teacher and not relate
Yeah.
to me anymore. And so for you to stay that current in the fashion industry that changes so much, like that speaks
Yeah.
volumes to you and your cool
Aw.
factor. Mm.
Aw, thanks. Well, and that thing, I never thought of myself. I wasn't making the trends. Do you know what I mean? Like I never felt like I had to. I'm not a mirror selfie girl. I'll do it every once in a while, just if I'm asked a lot about an outfit or something. But I'm basically just a reporter. And you can't really age out of knowledge.
Mm.
You can't age out of what people want to know, and educating people on stuff that they want to know about. And
Yeah, you just get wiser.
it's you get well, I think so, and it's it's not rocket science. I mean, I'm not curing
Hmm.
cancer, but at the same time, it's fun. And I think
Hmm.
that because I have been around so long, I'm trusted and somewhat of an authority. And I think it's part of my identity. It's kind of who
Hmm.
I don't know who I would be without Celeb Style Guide,
Yeah, it truly is. If you could pick one
Mm.
area that's the most fun for you of your job, what would it be?
Mm. Visiting TV sets and movie sets and sitting and watching the entire production. Even if something takes 30 takes, I will sit there and I will love every single take. I love the hair and makeup process. I love the AD, the assistant director. I love the directing. I love I need to see the script. I forgot my line, the whole thing. I am never more plugged in or alive when I'm on a set.
Mhm. And it probably is so much fun for you too because you watch it and then to see it like
Yeah,
actually in real life
yeah,
is just, yeah.
yeah.
And you
Yeah. And
forget
they,
maybe that for me anyways, that actors are real people. So to see them in their
yeah.
element.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And to, like you said, to see them in their element and to kind of see behind the curtain, it's fascinating. And
Hmm.
I love the whole machine of it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
We used to joke, and I am not a big runner, but I used to try to get you to run the neighborhood with me, and you were like, "Carrie, not
Nope.
happening." So
No.
in races, though, I have run a few races. We get a medal. You
Hmm.
complete a 5K, and mine was not for first, second, or third, but just for a finisher medal. And so
Yes.
you get something shiny to hang on the wall. And in your business, you've had 2 decades of
Hmm.
creating, pushing, showing up, and you don't get literal medals, but you have
Mm-mm.
moments, so you have highlights. So if you think
Hmm.
about those things and people that feel like trophies in your memory bank,
Hmm.
what are some medals of your career?
Mm. Probably when someone recognizes me or remembers my work or can recall exact things or the first time they were ever featured on Celebrity Style Guide and it was important to them. When a director or a PR company of like Netflix or somebody is like, oh my god, thank you so much for being here, we love how much you support our show. That's a huge medal for people to be glad that I'm here, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm part of it, like kind of part of the team, so to speak.
Mhm.
I would say that would be a medal.
I think
Such
that
a
is
good
because you're like,
question.
wow, I built this from the ground,
Yeah.
literally from the ground up.
Yep. And
Mhm.
and telling the story, and I think every time I tell it, I'm like, gosh, the words that are coming out of my mouth. Yeah, so just people liking what I do. I think that's and enjoying it and appreciating it, and I think being in magazines, being interviewed by Entertainment Tonight, being in Us Weekly, being a Daily Mail, correspondent for fashion, all of these little things have been medals for me. But it's just,
Mhm.
I like that people like what I do, and it's being recognized.
Mhm. That's interesting to me because when I first thought of that question, I had an answer in my head that I thought looked so cool about your world. And it is
Oh,
all the free samples that she gets mailed
oh,
to her or all
yeah,
the fun experiences. But yours truly
yeah,
is about helping other people and it's
hmm
about the experiences more
hmm
than the things. So I love that.
absolutely,
Hmm.
yeah,
So
yeah, for
you
sure.
have, when we first started this, you said that fashion to you, when you were talking about Hayden's version of what an outfit, you said fashion is about being comfortable and
Hmm.
helping people find confidence through style.
Hmm.
So if you had to define style personally, what would you say? What does style mean?
Define my personal style or just
Yeah. Just
people.
the word style. What does style mean to you personally?
Reflecting your identity, just finding pieces that, define and reflect your identity. And I think your own style is not necessarily constantly chasing fleeting trends. I think it's when you find those, timeless quality pieces that you've curated with intention that really become part of who you are. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I call it a capsule collection. Like there are certain things that I have that I've had for 20 years. They're vintage. Now they're back out again. I'm like, yay, because I love them. So I think your style is it's a moving target. Whatever you create for yourself is your style. And I think that for me personally, I just like a style that can move through time seamlessly without knowing what year it is. So you're talking about Jennifer Aniston, earlier. I can see a picture of Jennifer Aniston in 2006 and I can see a picture of her, last week, and it's the same style. So she has moved through with those jeans, and sometimes they are the same generic jeans. She has stayed so true to her style and what she likes. There's no logos. It's very quiet luxury. It's very neutral. And some people say, "Oh, she plays it safe." Fine. She's, that she looks great. She's always. I think it's just a testament to her not chasing
Hmm.
and being, and she's
Hmm.
developed her personal identity and with her style, and she's sticking with it. So I think that's really cool.
I love that. I in December started a 365-day contact of big asks
Ooh.
every day. You were one
Oh,
of my
okay.
big asks, and I also wrote a letter to Jennifer Aniston to be on my podcast. So we'll see if that gets
Yay.
crumpled up and put on your
Manifest
floor, or
that.
if that ever lands. Yes.
Oh,
So
that'd be so
okay,
great.
before I go to my next question, I'm very
Yep.
interested if you could share maybe two or three of your timeless pieces that are in your closet, your capsule.
Okay. So I am a jeans connoisseur. So I love, love, love jeans. So they're the first thing I reach for. They're always my go-to. Right now, I love frame denim. I love a gold day. So they're definitely in my capsule. Um, and I love a neutral sweater, a gray, cream, beige, but it's got to be like plush. Does that make sense? I want some really nice, heavier weighted sweaters, which is perfect
Mm.
because I'm always in
Hmm.
the cold, as I prefer. I love a gorgeous jacket. I have so many jackets. I mean, I love them. And I love a long coat. I think it elevates everything. You could wear a pair of ripped jeans and a white t-shirt. You put a double-breasted black wool coat over it, and it's so chic.
I didn't
So,
realize that jackets were part of your capsule, and it makes so much sense
uh-huh.
now about why Hayden has so many jackets.
Yeah. Well, they can change everything about a look. They're just classic and they're timeless. And they can elevate any outfit
Hmm. What
without trying too
advice
hard.
could you give to people who want to feel confident in how they dress,
Hmm.
but then, we age and we go through
Hmm.
transitions in life. So, any advice on that?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. And again, we keep going back to Jennifer Aniston, our favorite, where it all started. But she has, kind of, even though she has aged, as we all do, she has stayed true to what works for her. And I think when you think of, if you have someone in mind that you're like, gosh, I really love how she looks, how she dresses, and you try to emulate that, but give it your own personal style. So I think that yeah, you can't really age out of style. I think again, don't let the outfit wear you. Buy pieces that you really love that are not super trendy, that you feel good in, and you can keep going back to those same pieces, just reworking them and reimagining the outfit. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think what you're saying is to keep it classy and not
Yeah.
trendy, because you
Hmm.
start going with the trendy, maybe it's
Hmm.
a crop top when those things are
Yeah.
going to change. Yes.
Right. And I don't
Mhm.
think you ever need to factor in your age into how you dress. I don't think you should factor in your age into anything. You
Mm.
know what I mean? I really don't. Like there's certain things I wouldn't wear just because I wouldn't wear it. But nobody's gonna tell me I can't wear it because of my age.
Mm.
So I think, and that's another thing about just feeling comfortable. And again, you can be as creative with your own personal style as you want to be. But there's certain things that, if someone was like, I need a capsule collection, what should I put in there? There's always, of course, the little black dress, the well-tailored blazer, white shirt, dark jeans. Those things are our go-tos for most people. And it's just finding the right ones that you love, that you pull from again and again.
Mm. When you look at what the celebrities are wearing, and I know you'll
Hmm.
pinpoint it, you'll find the exact, but oftentimes
Hmm.
I also have seen you find affordable dupes.
I have to. Yep.
So, do you call your people fans? Are they like your fans, right? Your
Well, followers, I guess they follow
followers. Okay,
along.
yes, your
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes followers want that same look without breaking the
Uh-huh.
bank. Are those
Yep.
hard to find? Do you like those dupes better sometimes?
No, I don't necessarily like them better, but I understand that it's part of it. It's great to do because not everyone can afford the row $3,400 coat, right? So we will go to the look for less or similar options. I just did a reel on a Chanel outfit that went viral. It was very, I don't want to say simple, but it was casual. It was baggy jeans, baggy boyfriend jeans, a quarter zip knit cashmere top, white t-shirt underneath, and then some cap toe shoes. The entire outfit, I think, was 17,000 head to toe.
Wow.
Okay. Nobody's doing that. So everyone loved it. So what I did was I recreated it using quality pieces that I think would be worth someone's, you know, money, so to speak.
Hmm.
So I'm never going to go cheap, cheap. I'm not doing that. So I will go, to Nordstrom. I will find a good $30 quarter zip. That's the exact same color. And I pour over these look for less options because again, I want them to be quality. I want them to be true look for less options. And I want people to be like, oh my gosh, I look exactly like the original.
I
That's,
think,
I take
yeah.
pride in that.
I was going to say, I think that is one of your true gifts to help people feel like a star without having to
Thanks.
finance, or
Yeah.
break the bank for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have been running a very successful business for over 2 decades, and which is
Mhm.
rare. What are some lessons that you've learned about maybe adapting through change or persevering?
Um, be prepared to move. Be prepared to adapt and move and change and stay true to who you are. I've always, I was always like, oh gosh, they're doing better than me. They've gotten further than I have in whatever, whatever I'm comparing myself to that day. You've got to stop that. You've got to just stay in a positive mind space. Remember why you started. Remember, why you're here. Try to fall in love with it over and over again for different reasons. And pivot constantly and understand that you're going to get knocked down and you're going to be criticized, but you're going to also get all the rewards as well. So
Mhm.
we tend to focus on the negative, which I hate that. So it's just the glass is half full. If you just always look at it that way, and if you still love it and you still think it's something that you want to do, just keep going.
You have such a calm way, and you always do it, even in real life, of in just graceful way of handling challenges. So if you think about
Mm.
one challenge, and you just mentioned
Mhm.
one, like people just being negative, but a challenge that you
Mhm.
faced with Celebrity Style Guide that maybe really shaped who you are as a business owner.
Yeah, well, moving from website to social media, because that was very outside of my comfort zone. I can get in front of a camera and run lines and be on stage. That I'm completely comfortable with that. Social media was completely out of my comfort zone. And I did not want to do it. I finally was like, I have to give this a shot, and thank God I did, because I sold the website and I thought I was retired. My followers, found me on Instagram, which I was really not very active, and they started to ask the questions through there rather than the website because I wasn't running it anymore. And I was like, ooh, this could be something. And then I just naturally embraced it and got out of my own way, and now it's bigger than it's ever been.
I didn't realize that. Amazing.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to someone who is listening to this podcast who has an idea, but they're scared to start?
Oh gosh. And it's funny because I was scared to start and my husband convinced me. I was like, nobody wants to see that. I'm the only weirdo. It's so hard to get out of your own way. And I don't know if I could give advice on that because I
Mhm.
still do that to myself. Find someone that believes in you. Find someone to talk to that is going to hype you up. There's a handful of people that when I have great news, that's the first call. I'm like, and they're like, oh my gosh, even if it's not even any big deal, they just are like, that's the best news I've ever heard. So you've got to surround yourself with that people that believe in your dreams and will support you, because that was key for me.
Mm.
Absolutely. I mean, you were so supportive. I mean, our whole circle, my friend group, nobody was like, oh, you have two heads. What is happening? Like, you didn't really understand you were like, okay, you didn't care. You're like, go for it. Woo, cheered me on the whole way. And so I had you guys, I had my friends, I had my husband
Mhm.
so that was key. And so I think you need to find a support group. You've got to find a cheerleading squad.
Troy, yes, Troy has always been the backbone and your number
Hmm.
one cheerleader. And
Hmm.
but you, I think, take that, and you have always been such a supporter of others' dreams. And I still
Oh.
remember when our middle son Jackson was doing an Ironman in Texas, and you drove
Oh,
there to
yeah.
support him, to support me, and you were a huge support for me as we were waiting for him to finish. So, what keeps you so grounded and generous with your time when you are so busy with your own life?
It's in me. It's how I prefer to be. I love helping. I would just say I love languages. We talk all about that, but I mother that way. I spouse that way. I try to friend that way. it's what I enjoy. That's where I get the most joy and validation out of this roller coaster of life, is
It
that,
is. It
you
truly
know?
is. Yes, it's part of your magic, the Heather magic. And I
Petty.
really love your sayings. You just said the two heads, and you
Yeah.
were the first person who I remember saying, "Oh, something about you were trying to eat more organic foods," and you're like, "I don't need a third arm growing out of my back."
My back. Yes, the Heatherisms are still alive and well and
Yes,
still
yes,
going.
yes.
Yes, but
If you
yeah.
could give one piece of advice
Okay.
to people trying to find their purpose, whether it's through a
Oof.
career, motherhood,
Okay.
reinvention, what would it be?
One piece of advice. Trying to find their spark or trying to find their what
Just trying to
lights you
find their
up?
purpose. Oh, yeah, that's good.
What lights you up? As I was saying earlier, I'm never more plugged in or alive when I'm on a stage or on a sound stage. Where do you get that big rush of, God, this feels good? Or I love doing this, or I love looking at this, or I love reading this. It's where you find your joy. And I think that's kind of the magic is finding something that gives you joy that can help you contribute and have it be a business.
Yeah, I love
It's
that because I think purpose doesn't have to be loud as long as it's
Mhm.
aligned and true to you, which
Exactly.
you have found, yes, the
Hmm.
perfect path for you. So
Yeah.
what's next for Celebrity Style Guide and Heather Green?
Ooh, 2026. I'm looking forward to it. It was a very, very busy 2025. I did a lot of shows. I did Nobody Wants This on Netflix. There's so many shows that I'm excited about, and I'm hoping to get back on the TV sets, back on the movie sets, back now that the kiddos are older, I have, the freedom to be able to travel. I'm going to say yes to opportunities, the stuff that sparked joy, like in the very beginning when I started Celebrity Style Guide, and it's getting back to the roots of it, getting back to the TV shows, the movies, and growing the social media, of course. I have some ideas for a book that yeah, so that's kind of out there. So there's some things that I would like to do. I just have
Mhm.
to figure out how to make that all happen.
You, just like fashion and style, haven't stopped evolving. You keep
Mhm.
growing, you keep pushing yourself. And I think that is so important as we age to keep doing that. And so that sounds
Yeah.
so exciting, all of those little ventures. And so I can't wait to see where this next chapter takes you. Are there any
Thank
fun projects that you've recently worked on or that you're looking forward to coming up?
Any fun projects? I've wrapped up all the shows that I was doing for 2025. I'm going to continue working with Nobody Wants This. I love that show on Netflix. There's a couple things I can't talk about right now. It has to do kind of with design and collaborating with some designers that I really, really like for some pieces that I think my followers and people would really like, but I can't really talk about that yet. I think this year is going to be kind of a stay the course year for me. I'm going to try to build on the momentum that has started the last 2 years and say yes to opportunities, try to make my own opportunities because I have so many thoughts on a daily basis of, oh, I want to do that. I want to do this. I'm going to start putting action into that this
Mm.
year, I hope. And yeah, so there's a few things. I mean, I'll tell you when we're not on the podcast.
A few things brewing. I love that.
Yeah.
Can you give us a 2026 fashion trend? And I know you're not into super trendy, but that you see coming up.
Mhm. Um, Again, quiet luxury. I think we're getting away from the heavily overdone. I think we're going to go back to like even down to your nails. I think we're going to see a lot more like a neutral nail, a more understated look. All of the designers, all of the runway shows have kind of removed the labels from their bags, from their coats. They're letting the design and the structure of their pieces speak for themselves. So I think that's kind of where we're going for 2026. Just a classier, more, I don't know, quiet luxury is what I call it.
Instead of having, the name brand
Yeah.
across your chest or yes, anything
Yes.
loud.
Everywhere. Yes.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you go real deep here for one of our last questions.
Okay.
So my kids, I don't know if they've ever listened to one of my podcasts, but I have a
Mhm.
feeling at least one of my sons will be listening to this podcast.
Ah! I hope so.
And hopefully your two kids as well. So
Yes.
advice that you could give the younger generation, any piece of advice, because life is hard and I work
Uh-huh.
with teens and life beats them up and their confidence gets beaten down. So any
Hmm.
advice you could give to them?
Um, you've got this. I think your dialogue within yourself has everything to do with what happens to you.
Mm,
So talk to yourself gentler, kinder. Um, when you get excited about something, lean into it. When you love something, learn what it is you love about it. Tune out the noise. The world is so noisy and we're just overstimulated. We take too much on and we are trying too hard to be everything to everyone all the time. Do you know what I mean?
I
So I
do.
think the younger generation, I think they just need to understand that they've got this. We all felt this way at some point in our lives. We've all gone through hardships and getting knocked down and overthinking, overstimulated. Take time to be quiet and be still. Be where you are. A lot more. Look at things, look up, look at nature. I mean, I'm surrounded by it. That's why I live here because I had to be here in order to reset myself. But get outside, be with your family, human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the sky is not always falling.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things, I think it's like just you're okay. You're okay. And I think that's people don't get told that enough. I think that it's for this generation, it's so important to just,
Yeah.
lean into your human side.
Yes, that is great advice for all of us, even for me at 54, because the craziness of the world, and I look back at the holidays that we just pulled through, and you
Hmm.
do, and you work so hard to make it magical, but then you look around and sometimes you miss it. And so
Yeah.
just like you said, pausing and giving yourself grace
Yes.
and just taking it in, slowing down. You said it perfectly.
Hmm.
Slowing down.
Yeah. You can, I mean, every day can be a Sunday a little bit.
Right.
Like every you can kind
Mhm.
of, and that's the thing. I think the generation coming up right now, they're just so hard on themselves. And I think they have to have it all figured out by 21. I mean, good grief.
Mhm, mhm,
It's like I've got to have it all, and it's that you're going to work. I promise you,
mhm.
you're going to
Right.
work, and you're going to learn
Mhm.
lessons, and there's going to be ups and downs, but you're
You
going to be
come out
okay.
stronger because of it. That's right. So
Absolutely.
before we wrap this up, Heather, anything else that you can think of that listeners might love to hear from you? And then where can they find you?
Well, they can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, at Celeb Style Guide, and I'm also on TikTok. I love my community. I love the little community that I've built on social media, but I also, I like friends like you. I cherish my friends and my family, and that's my priority. This year I want to be really well rounded. I want to have a really well rounded life this year, be present, be where I am, and take a little time to breathe.
I
Take a little
think
time
that's
to breathe.
perfect. And you do that. You definitely have to be intentional with that because otherwise
Hmm.
the days fly by. One of my
Hmm.
favorite quote is the days are long, but the years are short. And it's
Yeah,
so true the older we get. Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. And this last year was the fastest year that I can remember. It went by literally to the point where it kind of shook me a little bit. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, we need to really slow things down a little bit. And I don't have to have every moment of every day overscheduled and
Right.
filled. So,
Space. We need space.
absolutely.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Mother parenting advice. Parenting is so
Mm,
hard. You have two beautiful children, and they're both
thank
so
you.
different. To the moms who are in the thick of it right now, and it's so
Hmm.
easy to lose yourself, and it's so hard to you question if you're doing everything right, and if you're making, and of course you're making mistakes. We learn as we go.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
any advice to moms to maybe give themselves some grace, or what's your advice?
Yeah, well, and this is actually part of, like I said, the book idea. So one thing that Troy and I decided on very, very early on was that the philosophy of you only get one. And what that means is your children only get one childhood. So they can move, they can change jobs. They may, unfortunately get divorced. They can change their name, they can change jobs, careers. You can change literally everything about your life except your childhood.
Mm.
So when you look at your kiddos in that perspective, it kind of shifts the focus a little bit because you're responsible for that one childhood. And it goes like you said, the days are long, or the years are
The
was it
days
days
are
are
long,
long?
but the years are
Yeah.
short. Yeah. Hmm.
And that's so true. I remember you and I hanging out with Cheerios in our hair and throw up on our shirt. We're like, this is not going fast. Why does
Right.
everyone say this goes fast?
Right.
But
Baby. Yeah.
but yeah, and I was like, I'm exhausted. I haven't showered. So I understand when you're in the trenches, but if you can just remind yourself as a mom, you're responsible for that childhood and
Mm.
how they remember it. And that shifted my focus in the way that I parent.
Hmm. I feel like that is gold. And the fact that you said that, I mean, you're so right. Everything you said about that
Hmm.
is so true.
Hmm.
And I am
Yep.
excited for this book venture for that because I think that could really be an amazing resource for parents, for people.
Thank
So
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
you need to get busy doing that.
yeah, I know. And it really does. It really does shift your brain when you think of it that way. And it's harder because everyone in my family is taller than me by a lot. And when my 12-year-old is arguing with me and we're standing eye to eye, I had to constantly remember she's not my intellectual equal. Even though she's not an adult, she's not, and I can't argue with her on that playing field. Does that make sense?
Oh,
I
sure
had
does.
to
Mhm.
yeah, because she's smart. She's smart as can be, and she would let me have it. I'll tell you what. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, I just had to hold myself back and just be like, okay, it's this too shall pass. This too shall pass,
Mhm.
and this is part of it. And I don't want her to look back on this moment in her childhood and see her mom lose it
Mhm.
and have it say something I don't want to say or have regret or
And I remember you telling me that exact same quote several times. This too shall
hmm.
pass.
Hmm.
Heather, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Your humbleness, your creativity, your humor. I miss your humor. But and not
You
just,
know it better than anyone.
well, I'm proud of you, not just for the success,
Thank
because
you.
you have built something incredible, but for your
Thank you.
heart and your integrity
Thank you.
behind all of it. And you've inspired so many people, myself included. So
Thank you.
just to live with confidence. And that's, I think, your
Yes.
big message, and just to follow their
Yeah.
passions and to keep
Hmm.
evolving. And so thank you for sharing your story and for being such a dear friend all of these years. And so for everyone listening, go check out Heather and follow her on social media for the latest fashion and celebrity trends. And remember that your next chapter can be just as stylish as you choose to make it. Thank you so much, Heather.
I love that. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Thanks for being patient too with me on the beginning. I can't believe
No.
I forgot to hit record. Heather,
Girl,
what
if
did you
there's
think
if
of
there's
it?
if there yeah, well that's the thing. I'm come from TV. Take two, take three, take
Yeah.
four. I could do it all day. No, I thought it was great and I love your voice. I love
Oh,
your voice, the way that you deliver questions, the way that it's wonderful. I love it so
oh,
much.
thanks. That means a
Yeah.
lot coming from
You
you.
could you could read the yellow pages to me and I'd listen.
Yeah. Or fall asleep.